Welcome to Outside the Box, a short conversation about how food service is changing at scale, what operators are facing, what systems are under pressure, and what becomes essential as expectations arise. Today, we're getting perspective of the user technology, a student on a campus. Sydney Kennedy is wrapping up her senior year at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, where she's been an on-campus marketing associate for Apex. The university recently opened Cumberland Food Hall, an off-campus dining destination built on concepts anchored by smart pickup lockers. Sydney can come on and talk about that through the eyes of the student that it was built for. She's finishing up her years on campus and getting ready to head into the working world, and she's got a perspective most operators don't get to hear directly. Sydney, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit more about your years at the University of Tennessee. What is campus life like?
Yep, for sure. So I'm from Cincinnati originally. So coming from out of state, I definitely was not sure what to expect at Tennessee at first. But even from when I visited my senior year, I remember it just felt different from other schools I had visited. I feel like everyone on campus has so much school pride, and it's just such a high energy, just fun environment, honestly. There's always something going on, always something to do, even off campus. And I've also had the chance to get really involved on campus, which has been my favorite part of being at Tennessee. So yeah, love it. Best school ever.
But I think that's, the academics and all those different things are important, but honestly, how you feel when you go on campus is such an important piece of deciding where to go.
Yeah, I just felt so welcomed. I feel like everyone was so excited, and that just makes you feel so much more comfortable there. So that was kind of my experience from the start, which was great.
No, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about like dining in particular. Again, eating is really important on campus too. So how did dining fit into kind of either your decision making, how it made you feel like home on campus? How does it ingrain in your kind of everyday life now?
I remember also from when I visited on tour, they made a lot of comments about the Chick-fil-A's on campus. That was a big moment. I'm not sure why, but they brought it up. We have so many Chick-fil-A's. But I think it's definitely a big part of like not only just getting food in between classes and having so many options with that, but it's also a big social aspect, I would say. My friends and I love to grab coffee on campus before class or dinner after a club meeting. So I think it's a big form of connection too on campus, which has helped a lot.
Well, I would imagine on a campus the size of the University of Tennessee, there's lots of options depending on what you're in the mood for that day.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like even from my freshman year, it's changed so much. Like there's so many more options now than there were freshman year, just the Chick-fil-A's mostly. But yeah.
Sure. Well, tell me a little bit about, technology though. Okay. So talk about dining, but experiences with technology, whether it's in dining or other places on campus, like how did that play a factor in any of this?
Yeah, I feel like it's changed a lot. Again, everything on campus from my freshman year even just looks so different. But I think with dining specifically, I remember the food robots that can deliver food everywhere. That was a really cool technology aspect that I remember, especially freshman year was great in the dorms. But yeah, definitely just a lot of technology on campus has changed over the years, especially with AI. I feel like that's become a big thing. Tennessee has their own AI platform, so that's been kind of cool to see. We use that in classes and everything. But yeah, definitely a lot of changes with technology over the years, which has been fun to see.
Well, that's kind of fun that you have your own kind of way for that.
Yeah.
Talking back in the robots, and those were there when you started on campus, and then with the addition of the smart pickup lockers, like how did that change some of the dining expectations on campus?
I think it's made it a lot more accessible, especially with the lockers. That was always, I remember freshman year in the dorms, like if you were sick or it was raining, like people would love to get the robots to deliver food. So that was always fun. And then with the lockers, I think it's made everyone's experience so much easier, and everyone just really they think it's really cool. It's fun to see people use them for the first time and how excited they get. And I think people talk a lot about the lockers specifically with how much it helps with food getting stolen, because that's definitely a big issue on our campus. So that's definitely reduced, and people are really happy about that, which is nice.
Well, there's that security aspect to know, like if you're placing your order, you're kind of planning your day around when you can swing by and pick it up, that if it's not there, that can be challenging at times.
Exactly. Yep.
So thinking about the food lockers specifically, like as you were first encountering them, whether it's at the various different locations on campus, like what was that student reaction right off the bat?
Yep. I think overall it was very positive. I loved seeing people see them for the first time and they comment just how like cool they look and how modern it is. And I think even people who I've seen who are a little bit more like hesitant at first or unsure, once they use them, they start talking about, they see the door pop open, the light light up the locker, and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. I've never seen it before. So I feel like just with it being something so new and no one on our campus has seen before, it was very exciting to everyone, which was cool.
Yeah. Did you see then, students telling their friends, hey, like come order here, it's convenient to pick up and things like, did you see that kind of grassroots marketing kind of spread from that standpoint too?
Yeah, definitely. And I think even with my friends, like they were like, oh my gosh, like the lockers. I was like, yeah, like I work for the company who has them, which was fun. But I think I've also seen on TikTok, once Cumberland Food Hall opened, and on social media, people would do reviews and they would post with the lockers and then people would comment and go use them, which was also really fun.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that, like social media and even some of the things on the dining side of things. Like how do they utilize social media to help what's available and kind of what the new things are on campus?
Tennessee, like Ball Dining, has an Instagram. They also have a TikTok, which recently they've been into a lot of the TikTok trends, which is really like everyone really enjoys those. But yeah, they post a lot. They're very open with new menu items, new restaurants. So that's a really good way to stay informed on campus. They also send out, I think it's a monthly newsletter that they send, and it just has kind of updates on dining on campus. And then even like non-Tennessee, there's so many students who are always posting on TikTok and doing food reviews of new locations on campus. So that's definitely another way that really gets the word out about new locations.
No, that's awesome. Again, like the way that you guys consume, information these days is, and anybody really, has evolved quite a bit in the way that, what's available or, a quick video that can explain all of it to you in one time.
Exactly. Yeah. I think especially with TikTok getting bigger over the last, I don't know how long it's been around now, but the last like 5 or 6 years, it's gotten so much easier with all of that and communication.
Absolutely. Did you encounter any friends or anybody on campus that maybe was skeptical of using the pickup lockers for the first time?
I actually did. So I was at Orange Acres, which is the agricultural campus restaurant that has the lockers. And I remember sitting there eating, and a group of like 3 or 4 girls walked up and they were using them for the first time. And I could kind of hear them talking. They were like, we've never seen these before, like kind of unsure. They not complaining, but like just didn't know what they were. Yeah. And then they typed in their code and it popped open. They grabbed their food and they like almost like immediately switched. And we're talking about how cool it was. And they were like, we have to tell our friends about it. I think that's the only time I've really seen it, but I was just kind of laughing how quick of a switch flipped. And yeah, so it was fun to see.
Well, and we talk about that a lot, on our side of things. Like once you experience it, it makes a world of difference. Like totally. It can look overwhelming or difficult or things, but once you actually go through the motions or see it live on a campus and things, it kind of makes all of that clear.
Definitely. Yeah. It was funny. It was like just immediately they were really excited about it after. So
yeah. So your generation has grown up with technology, that's supposed to make everything easier. Does this feel like something that's a big deal? Or is this something that's like, oh yeah, of course we have robots. Of course we have pickup lockers.
That's a good question. I feel like even growing up with like constantly there being new technology, I don't think the excitement with it has gone away for the most part, which is fun. I feel like it, especially with the lockers, we've never had anything like that on our campus. So people experiencing that for the first time was really exciting. And I think it's just such a great solution to a lot of issues that we face with dining. And I think there's a lot of excitement with that still. So I think it did feel like a big deal still, at least at Tennessee.
No, that's great. What would you then tell a school, students at another school, administration at another school that's thinking about bringing something like this on their campus?
I would probably say just how much of an impact it's made on our campus. It not only makes just the overall experience so much easier, but it's also brought a lot of excitement. I love seeing people use it for the first time. And I think it just makes so much sense to implement. It's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, I think for students and staff, it just makes it so much more efficient and solves so many issues.
Well, again, you think about just in, all of us are consumers as well as trying to, market and talk about a solution, but, we mobile order, we expect that same type of efficiency on the pickup side too. So if
Exactly.
you mobile order and then have to go stand in line and wait for somebody to hand you something that's already prepared, like it takes that efficiency out of the process altogether.
Totally. Yeah, so I think it just makes so much sense, and people, it's just exciting to see. So,
Well, as you think about then, graduation and all of those fun things ahead, like how does this change like your mindset on what you would look for in a restaurant in the future or in other ways that you're going to kind of consume things off campus now?
I think definitely in the future for like restaurants, if I ever see the lockers, I'd be very excited. I'm a huge fan of them, but yeah, I think just overall, it just makes it so much more efficient. And I think everyone wants something that's quick and easy to use. And I think the lockers totally bring that. So definitely just off campus in general in the future, being able to find those solutions that are similar to that.
Absolutely. So one question we ask everyone on outside the box is, what's something about your job, and in this case, a college senior ready to graduate, that most people don't see?
That's a really good question. I've definitely gotten so much great experience from the job that I've loved. I've just had a great time. I think a big thing is I've gotten to connect with so many people on campus. Like a big part of my job is going to the restaurants and just kind of talking to people. So I think I've really enjoyed just getting to know not only more students on campus through this, but also the staff at the restaurants and building those relationships with them. So I think just the connection. And then also I get to see all the reactions from students so often and hearing the staff say that the lockers make their job so much easier. So yeah, I think that's it.
That's awesome. Well, Sydney, this was so fun. Thanks so much for giving us, the student side of the story. It's one we don't hear often enough.
Yes, thank you. I've had a great time talking with you, and yeah.
Yep. And good luck finishing your senior year. We're rooting for you.
Thank
And
you.
thanks everyone for watching. Keep an eye out for more episodes. They're coming soon. I'm Ashley McNamara. Thanks so much for joining us on Outside the Box.